Since 2017, Alex Bregman has become one of the better infielders in all of baseball. He reminded a lot of people of Dustin Pedroia. He still does, considering he's on the shorter side height-wise, yet plays with a ton of fire and confidence, something many may call cockiness, and he's played that way from the start. Typically, a rookie isn't someone you'd expect to be cocky or show a lot of personality and talk shit, openly having a ton of fun. At least that's not historically how it's been in really any sport, not just baseball, but especially in baseball. We've been moving away from that as young players are being encouraged now more than ever to show off their personalities and just simply have fun playing the game that is baseball, and I fully support it. Obviously, there are times where I can understand getting upset at a player showing up someone else or disrespecting another player or team for no real reason, but I overall do love players being flashy and having fun, no matter what age they are, how much experience is under their belt. So Alex Bregman, despite being a 23-year-old in his first full season in 2017, he did not back away from playing with a lot of edge and fire to him. And this attitude only grew over the next couple of years. And even to this day, he's shown he's not afraid to talk his shit, mock other players, whether it can be viewed as friendly banter or straight up cockiness. But with that said, there really is enough evidence now, 8 years into his big league career, to show that Bregman might want to tone down his mocking ways, because it never seems to end well for him in the Astros. Really quick, I'm trying to get to 140,000 subscribers before 2024, so if you enjoy the content and haven't hit that button yet, consider doing so. Thank you. After a really good 2017 season, Bregman had a great year in 2018, getting named to his first All-Star team and finishing top 5 in MVP voting. He was great. The Astros were great, comfortably won another division title, and after sweeping Cleveland in the first round of the postseason, it was time to take on the Boston Red Sox in the ALCS, a rematch between the two teams after Houston got the better end of them in the 2017 ALDS. The Red Sox were and looked a little bit different this time around though. I mean, they were way better as a team and way more talented than they were in 2017, and a big part of this was because of some new players that joined on. JD Martinez being one of them, with starting pitcher Nathan Eovaldi being dealt from the Rays to Boston around the trade deadline. The Red Sox and Astros would split the first 2 games of the series in Boston, and there was even a moment where Bregman, after getting hit with a pitch from Joe Kelly, would stand in the batter's box and stare right back at Kelly, obviously not happy about it. Nothing more came from this, but leading up to Game 3 of the ALCS, which was taking place in Houston, Alex Bregman decided to, out of absolutely nowhere, troll and mock Nathan Eovaldi. So how did he do this? Well, Bregman went on Instagram and posted a video on his story for everyone to see. The video consisted of himself, Jose Altuve, and George Springer hitting back-to-back-to-back homers off of Nathan Eovaldi in a game that took place earlier in the season when Eovaldi was still with the Rays, captioning the video by saying, "Little pre-game video work." Steve Pearce, someone who was also traded to the Sox in that year's deadline, had some thoughts on the situation. Clearly not happy about it, saying, quote, "Wow, I don't know why he would do that. We do our talking on the field. If he wants to run his mouth now, we'll see who is talking at the end of the series. I don't think he needs to run his mouth. He's one of the best players in the game. If that's his personality, that's his personality. Nothing against the guy. If that's how he has to motivate himself, whatever." With Alex Cora, Bregman's former bench coach and now Red Sox manager, adding on that, quote, "If you need motivation in Game 3 of the ALCS, you better check yourself. Because you win 3 more games, you go to the show, and that's what should motivate you. Alex has different ways of motivating himself, and whatever, I'll leave it at that," end quote. Bregman ended up actually deleting the post, and not because he was told to necessarily, as Astros manager AJ Hinch praised it, calling it not disrespectful and saying it was just in good fun. Either way, Eovaldi, who doesn't have Instagram, of course was still informed about this though, and when asked about it by the media, he didn't talk any trash back or throw any shade Bregman's way, saying, quote, "The guys have told me about it. I think home run clips, right? Something like that. Yeah, I'm aware of it. I still have a job to do. I've got to go out there and pitch my game, and I can't have any distractions." As Nate clearly understood that the only way to truly get back at Bregman was by doing it on the field, and that's exactly what would happen. Eovaldi, who got the start in Game 3, pitched well, the Sox won, they'd win again in Game 4, with the game ending on an Alex Bregman batted ball that very well could have won the game for Houston, only to be caught on a dive by Andrew Benintendi in left field. So the Astros are now down 3-1 in the series, the Sox take a 4-1 lead into the 8th inning of Game 5, and Eovaldi, despite starting the game a couple days earlier, would come in relief, getting the chance to face Bregman one final time, and he sure made it count, blowing a 102-mile-an-hour fastball past him for strike 3. The Red Sox went on to win the game, winning the series and knocking Bregman and his Astros out. So he talked his shit, and that's not why the Astros ended up losing every game at home and have their season end. But of course not the best look, but whatever. Bregman's still one of the game's best, the Astros are still one of the best teams, so you move on to 2019 and that's exactly what they did. Alex Bregman went out the next year, in 2019, putting up the season of a lifetime, hitting over 40 homers, almost 40 doubles, finishing second in MVP voting. I mean, he was insane, helping lead the Astros to another division title, another pennant, and the Astros were a single win away from winning their second championship in 3 years in Game 6 of the World Series at home against the Washington Nationals. In the first inning, Bregman would smash a big homer off of Steven Strasburg to give his team the lead, but that was not enough for Bregman. He was feeling himself in that moment, proceeding to carry his bat all the way to first base, past first base, dropping it after rounding first, with it actually landing onto the infield. For some context here on how not normal that is to do, players always drop their bats almost immediately right around home plate after home runs, and if they do pimp it or flip the bat, it doesn't happen at first base and land on the infield. I mean, this was just the ultimate cocky move by Bregman, whether you love or hate it. I mean, he was just straight up showing up Steven Strasburg and the entire Nationals team. So in the moment, he got to laugh, he got to have his fun, round the bases, and give his team the lead, but skip ahead to the top of the 5th inning, and Juan Soto decided Bregman was not going to get the last laugh, hitting an absolute moon bomb off of Justin Verlander that landed in Austin, Texas, mimicking Bregman on his way to first, holding the bat all the way down the line. The Nats went on to win this game, forcing a Game 7, and Bregman even felt the need to go as far as to apologize for carrying the bat the way he did, saying, quote, "I just let my emotions get the best of me. It's not how I was raised to play the game. I just let my emotions get the best of me, and yeah, I'm sorry for doing that," end quote. But sorry wasn't enough to propel the Astros to win Game 7, a game in which Soto and his Nationals would also win, as the Astros would lose in heartbreaking fashion. And who would win World Series MVP? The very guy Bregman mocked the night before, Steven Strasburg. But the pain was only just somehow beginning for Bregman, as just a couple months later, the Astros were exposed in one of maybe the biggest cheating scandal of all time, with it being revealed after an investigation by the league that the Astros illegally stole signs during the 2017 season, the year they of course won it all, and it was now time for every baseball fan other than Astros fans to let that team and their players hear it, mocking all of them, including Bregman. Bregman, who had been one of the more vocal and cocky players on the team over the last few years, went quiet, not giving any authentic answers to the media regarding the scandal, basically acting like a robot, and just continuously referring to the commissioner's report during one of the interviews.
You know, the commissioner came out with a report, MLB did their report, Astros did what they did, they made their decision on what they're going to do. The commissioner made his report, made his decision, the Astros made their decision.
The commissioner made his report, the Astros made their decision as well.
The commissioner made his report.
The MLB addressed the report, the Astros addressed the report. The commissioner
Had a report, the Astros made their decision.
The commissioner and MLB did their report.
The Astros cooperated with the report.
They made their decisions.
The commissioner, the MLB addressed the report.
The commissioner.
The commissioner.
And not only that, but Bregman ended up being one of the 2 players to have to go up in front of the media during spring training and publicly apologize, him and Altuve.
I am really sorry about the choices that were made by my team, by the organization, and by me. I've learned from this, and I hope to regain the trust of baseball fans. We as a team are totally focused on moving forward to the 2020 season. Thank you.
I remember when Bregman made this brief statement, his apology was being compared to Dwight Schrute's apology after setting off the fire alarm in the office, causing panic and for Stanley to have a heart attack.
I state my regret.
You couldn't have memorized that?
I could not because I do not feel it.
You almost can't tell the difference between the 2 videos. In all seriousness though, Bregman, who had made it his thing to be cocky, was now stopping himself from really saying or doing anything of that sort. Like, Bregman honestly stopped being cocky for a while. Later that year, Joe Kelly would throw a pitch over Bregman's head, Remember, it was less than just a couple years back when Bregman did actually stare back at Kelly for hitting him. But now, Bregman didn't even look at Kelly's direction. He just kind of had this look on his face like, whoa, that was scary, and kept it stepping, going on over to first base and not even challenging Kelly. He'd go on to miss a ton of games in 2021 because of an injury, come back, was non-existent in the playoffs that year, just not hitting at all. 2022 came around, Bregman was much better, putting up good numbers during the regular season, was a monster in the postseason, helping lead the Astros to another championship, showing the world that they never needed to cheat to begin with. So Bregman was back to being a good player after not being as relevant in 2020 and 2021, but one thing remained pretty constant from the start of 2020 through the end of 2022, which was the lack of Bregman's cockiness. He really wasn't as snarky as he was before 2020, but we finally got that cocky Bregman back for 2023. In 2023, Bregman had a good year, playing in almost every game for the Astros and helping lead his team to yet another division win despite the Texas Rangers having the upper hand in the end, with them going on to choke the division on the last weekend and day of the regular season, meaning the Astros now got to pop champagne and celebrate. But before the party officially started, Alex Bregman decided to be openly cocky again for really the first time in like 4 years, saying, "A lot of people wondered what would happen if the Astros didn't win the division. I guess we'll never know." Mic drop moment. Everyone went nuts, and the Astros were on top yet again. So just like 2019 when Bregman decided to show up Steven Strasburg in the Nationals, feeling himself while his team and the crowd went nuts, he was doing the same here, getting what he thought would be the last laugh. Unfortunately for him and the Astros, just like 2019, things didn't turn out well, and they indeed did not get the last laugh. In an almost actual carbon copy of how the Astros 2019 season ended, the Astros went on to lose every home game in a 7-game series, but this time instead of it happening in the World Series, it happened in the ALCS against the Texas Rangers. Now, I've seen some make the argument that Bregman wasn't throwing shade or mocking the Rangers specifically with his pre-celebration toast after winning the division, as it was more for the doubters and the people rooting against them. And although that has some truth to it, the bottom line is that Bregman said that quote immediately after his team stole the division from the Texas Rangers. So whether it was meant to be a shot at them or not, it came across as something for the Rangers to use as motivation, as something to look back on if they ended up getting the last laugh. And with them eventually taking down the Astros, they did get the last laugh, going a step further and winning the World Series, getting to have a parade, and in this parade, the Rangers decided to look back at that Alex Bregman quote, with World Series MVP Corey Seager getting the ultimate mic drop moment, saying, "Everybody was wondering what would happen if the Rangers didn't win the World Series. I guess we will never know." The fans went nuts, his teammates did the same, and here we are again with Alex Bregman being on the losing end of a joke. Now, at the end of the day, everything Bregman has done to mock these players and teams and whoever, it's harmless. It's not too serious of a matter. But the point I'm trying to make here, not just about Alex Bregman, but this goes for anybody, it's never best to mock others and be snarky or poke the bear before you've truly escaped the bear cave. You may be confident that you're going to escape it. Hell, you may be at the very entrance of the cave about to leave and escape death. But it's always better to talk your shit and have fun with the trolling after everything is said and done, not when there's a chance it can blow up in your face. And unfortunately, every time Alex Bregman has decided to have his fun and mock others, it's never ended well for him. Not when he did it with Nathan Eovaldi, not when he did it with Steven Strasburg and the Nationals, and not when he did it with the Texas Rangers. I mean, hey, look what happened when Bregman took a 3-season hiatus from being cocky. He and the Astros won the World Series. He goes right back to his cocky and mocking ways in 2023, and he ends up becoming the one getting mocked at the end while the rival Rangers win the World Series over them. Coincidence? You tell me, but the facts are the facts, and it just never ends well when Bregman decides to be cocky. So I think there's enough of a sample size here for Bregman to realize how to go about things from here on out. He can be cocky and have his fun trolling, but it's probably smart to wait until after nobody has a chance to make you eat your words or actions. Let me know what you think. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.